Hello, this will be the first video in a series going into some basic automation tricks with Excel. I'll try to keep them short and to the point, and with the bare minimum of info that you'll need to go out on your own and solve your own problems. I'm not a programmer, so these will contain things I've learned over time from lots of Google and plenty of mistakes. First, we'll get into opening the VBA Editor from Excel. Visual Basic for Applications, or VBA, is a pretty cumbersome and annoying language to use, but with the right approach can be somewhat decent. Its strength lies with its ability to interact with other Microsoft Office applications very easily, and a nice collection of reference libraries that allow for control of a wide variety of programs. Best of all, it's probably already installed on your work machine, and everything you need has likely already been approved by your IT department. This means that you can get right to work without dealing with permissions and all that other nonsense. To open the editor from Excel, you use Alt F11 or Option F11 if you're on a Mac. Once that pops up, I'm recording from a Mac, which will limit some of the functionality of Office, but everything you'll see here can be done on a PC just as well. It may look a little bit different, but just about everything should be there. For a couple videos later on, I'll hop onto my PC, but we'll get there when we get there. Now that we have the editor open, we can quickly go over the key parts. You'll see a project window over here that contains everything in your workbook, or if you've got multiple workbooks open, they'll all show up here. The properties window down here allows you to change, well, properties. We'll use this quite a bit more when we get to user forms, but for now, we'll leave it alone. The main screen is where your code will go, which is blank for now, and then there's a series of play, pause, and stop buttons that we'll use to run our scripts. So to get started, we'll insert a new module. A module is an object that will contain our VBA code. You'll see it show up here as Module 1, listed here, and it's also popped up in our project window over here. We can rename that using the Properties window to help us out later on, which is very useful if you separate your code into multiple modules. Each function and subroutine that we place in these modules are accessible in every other module, so we'll keep that in mind when we name these functions. There are ways around this, but I usually don't have to worry about it, so for the scope of these videos, we'll pretend that all functions can be seen everywhere. That was a terrible attempt at a terrible pun, because scope in VBA is something that we'll get into near the end of this series. It's a bit advanced for most of what we need to do, but it can help when you're trying to find those errors that just seem to not want to go away. Now, we'll go to our editor and we'll do our first bit of code. We'll define a subroutine with the keyword sub, and we'll call this one Hello World. We don't need to pass in any parameters, so we'll just put some close parentheses here, hit enter, and let the editor fill in the rest for us. Now, we'll use the message box command, and when we hit space, we can see this nice feature of VBA, which will show us which parameter we're filling in at the time. This can be very helpful when you have a function or a subroutine that has many parameters to keep track of which one you're entering at the moment. This will even work for functions and subroutines that we define ourselves, which is very useful. We'll just type in hello world, and as long as our cursor is somewhere between the sub here, we can hit play and see our message right there. We'll close that out. And we've just seen how easy it can be to open the editor and run a very simple subroutine. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.